there are some things he could still add. Like he could add 6-man realistically. He could maybe get a title in the NBA. He could maybe get some accolades in EuroLeague if he leaves early enough and is able to play for a few years. I would love that. Dennis Schroder is a player that I've always admired, and I think he could change his view in the NBA a little bit. I think he could be better than what people think of him in the States. There's Hall of Fame conversations people are having, like basketball Hall of Fame, and people are like, oh, you got to remember it's the Basketball Hall of Fame. And to be honest with you, I think this is a deep dive that I need to set aside time for, in terms of however many amount of guys are in the Hall of Fame, largely because of what they accomplished outside the NBA while being in the NBA. You know what I mean? Because there are guys in the Hall of Fame like Oscar Schmidt, who never played in the NBA, who were amazing overseas, who were amazing in international play. Dennis Schroder is a little bit unique because he's been in the NBA. He's never been an all-star. He's a solid NBA guard. And on top of that, he has a World Cup like championship. He has a World Cup gold medal and an MVP in that tournament, and he has a gold in EuroBasket and an MVP in that tournament, and a bronze in EuroBasket, and multiple Olympic appearances, like a real like body of work. I don't even know how to sort of look at that compared to some other people. Like I did pull some inductees, but we would be here for too long. And it's like I don't know how to compare Dennis Schroder's career to like Michael Cooper. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't sound right, or Pau Gasol, for example. Pau Gasol was also, though, like he was one of the best players in the NBA for a stretch. And an all-star annually. Like that's an easy one. Dirk Nowitzki,
I think
easy.
Schroder would be one of those guys that you're like, he might be like the worst NBA player but then like it's hard to even say because it's not like he's a bad NBA player.
Unless there's like guys that like who had a cup of coffee in the NBA but were like awesome in Europe or whatever. To which like that, like Tony Kukoc is in the Hall of Fame, and he was never an amazing NBA player, but he was also one of the best players, and he was early. He was early in terms of being one of these guys who went to the NBA to begin with. Like if Tony Kukoc comes over 10 years later, like if he's born 10 years later, basically, and the pipeline is already established, he's a better player because of it. And maybe he's an all-star player because of it, but because he was one of the early ones, you know what I mean? And then you can't compare him to like Drazen Petrovic, rest his soul, because that was a little bit different. That ended abruptly, unfortunately. So like, it's just a weird thing to do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I mean, it's tough, but at the same time, he's got 2 MVPs, like in major international competitions, in EuroBasket now and in the World Cup. That's incredible. That's great. So, and then he's also got a bronze with this German team in 2022 in EuroBasket. So been on multiple all tournament teams. There's definitely a case, and the windup is too, he's going to play more. Like he's going to have another chance at something else too. Like he's not like old yet. And the windup is too, even if he winds up retiring from the NBA, a lot of these dudes still play for their national teams because they know like the team kind of needs them, and they know too they can like sack up for a couple weeks every year, and be effective in these competitions.
Like Dennis Schroder is one of these dudes, and we almost saw this with Jonas Valanciunas. Like some of these guys who are maybe toward the end of their careers, like not the end like tomorrow, but in the last, I don't know, 5 years, give or take, might want to go home, kill it in EuroLeague, because that's the thing that Dennis Schroder can add also. Like,
just have a blast.
He can leave in a couple years. Go to a team that will qualify for EuroLeague or Euro Cup. He can go to Bayern Munich, actually. He can go to Bayern Munich, who's going to be in the EuroLeague this year. You can go to Bayern Munich, which is in Germany. and he could just hoop. He could be like, one of the, he can get like an all league
Probably get an
award.
MVP. Yeah.
He be in MVP conversations. If they win a title, he can be Final Four MVP, playoff MVP. Like, he can add those things still too. There's a world where he gets traded, like somebody gets hurt, he gets traded to a really good team. And what if he becomes the Denver Nuggets backup point guard that they really need?
Yeah. Like, what if he gets like that type of accolade?
And then they win a title, and you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, he could be sixth man of the year before his career ends. Like, like Dino Raja is on this list, who wasn't like an NBA player for a long time, though he was an effective one. But like, it's just such a weird thing. And then when you look at, I'll pull up the EuroBasket MVPs because we're talking about EuroBasket, but wait till you see the World Cup list. So there's only been 2 multiple time EuroBasket MVP winners, which is kind of crazy, and Pau Gasol is one of them.
Yeah.
Willie Hernan Gomez. I don't think we're talking about him as a basketball Hall of Famer necessarily, but he's got a resume. He's got a resume too, though.
Yeah.
He's got a real resume. Oh, Goran Dragic.
Fair.
Pondering that one. He was awesome in EuroBasket that year. Pau Gasol, Tony Parker, Juan Carlos Navarro, who I thought was going to be good in the NBA, left too soon. Gasol again, Andre Kirilenko, Dirk Nowitzki. Like, look at this list.
Yeah. No, it's like
Peja Stojakovic, who I loved when he was in the NBA. Tony Kukoc going further back, Drazen Petrovic, 1989, Arvydas Sabonis. Like, there are legends on this list. And then you look at the World Cup. Ricky Rubio, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Pau Gasol, Dirk Nowitzki.
No, it's like dogs. Like, yeah, like it's
Dejan Bodiroga, Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal, Tony Kukoc, Drazen Petrovic, Doc
Rivers in there.
Like, it's just, man. So we still have to see where this goes. But if you want to argue, like, he's on a Hall of Fame trajectory, like there are some things he could still add. Like, he could add 6-man realistically. He could maybe get a title in the NBA. He could maybe get some accolades in EuroLeague if he leaves early enough and is able to play for a few years. And yeah, I would love that. Dennis Schroder is a player that I've always admired. And I think he could change his view in the NBA a little bit. I think he could be better than what people think of him in the States.
Yeah, I think that there's definitely a lot of opportunity for him. And it'll be interesting to see kind of how that evolves and the way that this team evolves, because like Franz obviously is getting a lot of fanfare now. He's looked at for a variety of different awards. Like, is he going to be an all-star again? Like, what are the circumstances around Franz and the Orlando Magic? But it's kind of interesting because he's not even necessarily the best player, at least in the German national team sense. Like, is he the best player on this team?
It's so interesting. So those are our takeaways from EuroBasket. Germany's awesome. They should be number 2 in the world. And honestly, I think if they keep developing this core, because now teams are gonna, like, next year there's nothing. It's just World Cup qualifiers, and then it's the World Cup. So we're gonna start seeing some young players and things like that.
Yeah, next year is actually going to be like our one summer without too much international ball, which kind of sucks a little bit because it is fun. Like, it definitely breaks up the summer. I mean, think about it. We've basically been covering EuroBasket for like a month now.
Yeah. And before that,
so next year we're not going to get that same thing, which kind of sucks a little bit.
Yeah, and if you're curious, this is what you have to look forward to now in terms of FIBA. One, everyone's season is about to start, basically. So you have like EuroLeague, Euro Cup, all the domestic leagues in Europe. Obviously, the NBA, the WNBA playoffs are going on right now, literally right now as we're doing this. Which I'm going to tap into because I want to see the Aces in the Storm. That's just started. In terms of FIBA, though, November is the first World Cup qualifying window. The windows are basically everyone plays 2 games. So you're going to have this fall, you're going to have winter, which is going to be February. Then you're going to have summer, which is like June, July. And then certain teams will get eliminated at each group. Like for the Americas, for example, it's 3 teams advance out of a 4-team group. And then the 4th one gets eliminated. Everyone moves on to play the next phase of games. And then the 4th, 5th, and 6th windows will be 2026 in August, 2026 in like November-ish again, and then 2027 in February. And then by then we'll know who's going to be the 32 teams in the World Cup for 2027. So
Yeah.
I'll explain that again at some point, but that's basically the gist. So no more FIBA until November. And maybe I'll do something on that. We'll see what happens. We'll see what that looks like. Obviously, a lot of players will have to try to report from their domestic teams, so like the rosters could get murky. This is why Team USA sends G Leaguers,
and just doesn't give a shit about it. It's hilarious.
Yeah, they're just like, we'll qualify, which they will.
Yeah.
And then who they send to the World Cup is going to be different. So next year is just going to be some games in the summer here and there. Allows time to focus on W a little bit more, and obviously the FIFA World Cup is going to be here.
True.
So
True.
I definitely want to go and cover that. I don't cover as much soccer, football, but I've done some reporting on like the USA Mexico rivalry, for example, in the past. So I'd be curious to see. They actually used one of my articles in the Good Rivals documentary.
That's electric, actually.
Yeah, the Meadowlark Media one, and I love Dan. I love Dan's work. They used it, and the article was screenshotted from my story in Latino Rebels about the rivalry, where I interviewed a few people, one of whom was Hercules Gomez, a former player, about like all these young Mexican American players who like Team USA and Team Mexico are fighting for or whatever. So yeah, the World Cup's going to be interesting because USA, Mexico, and Canada are hosting. So, and all those teams are like, well, not Canada. Canada, I feel like
Canada will try, but it is one of those where you're
their
like,
product. But USA and Mexico, they're very on edge with their soccer right now, with their football right now.